Alright, let's take a look at the last three problems from the 1.3 homework. Uh, and I'm going to mention that I'm going to use the H form of this special limit that we're going to be taking just because it's a little bit easier to write. So the book tells you to use the limit as delta x goes to 0 of f of x plus delta x minus f of x all over delta x. Notice that the delta x is just going to 0, so we can just substitute the delta x with an h, and we get limit as h goes to 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. It's just a little bit simpler. In the last three problems, they wanted us to evaluate or find the limit with this special limit with these couple of problems. So let's look at this first one. This is 83. They want us to find the limit using this linear. So we're going to go ahead and plug all that stuff in. So in replacing the f of x plus h, all we're going to do is we're going to replace the x with the x plus h. The f of x is already given as 3x minus 2 all over h. Now, if I go ahead and directly substitute in 0 right here, I'm going to get 0 in the denominator, and I'm also going to get 0 in the numerator. So this is indeterminate form, so that means it's algebra time. We're going to have to do something. For special emphasis, this is where a lot of times mistakes are made, is that minus sign applies to the 3x minus 2, so both of them. So we're going to need to distribute that, and then so we go ahead and distribute the 3 in the first part. We're also going to distribute that red negative to the last part there. So we got 3x plus 3h minus 2 minus 3x plus 2 all over h. Some nice stuff is going to happen. Most of the stuff cancels out, and we have 3h over h. Okay. At this point in time, we can go ahead and divide or cancel out the h's there, and then we just have limit as h goes to 0 of 3, and this is just limit of a constant is the constant, so our limit here is just 3. Okay. If we do one that's a little bit more complicated, not a whole lot, but f of x is equal to x squared minus 4x. Again, we'll go ahead and write the limit as h goes to 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x all over h, and we're going to replace the first part, anything with an x plus h, so x plus h squared minus 4 times x plus h in parentheses, and then for emphasis we'll do it in red, minus the original function all over h. Now if I directly substitute 0 in again, I'm going to get 0 over 0. That's an indeterminate form, so I'm going to have to do some sort of algebra. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to FOIL out the x plus h quantity squared to be x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. Distribute the minus 4 to get minus 4x minus 4h. Distribute that minus sign, x squared plus 4x all over h. And some stuff will cancel out. We'll still got some other stuff left over. So a 2x plus h is there, an h squared is there, and a minus 4h all over h. So the x squareds, let's see, x squareds and the minus 4x, the positive 4x, those dropped out. Now, if we look at the limit here, you see how the numerator all has an h, so we're going to factor an h out. I think one of the part of the equal sign got erased, so let me put that in there. Okay. And now we can cancel those h's, and we have the limit as h goes to 0 of 2x plus h minus 4. And I can directly substitute 0 in now for the h because I am not going to be dividing by 0. And there is our limit. And that's it for that one. The last one has a bit of a trick to it. So in your prerequisite homework, you did something related to this, where you were going to end up multiplying by, well, we were kind of doing some fraction busting or clearing the fractions. So again, we're just rewriting the limit as h goes to 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. And the first part will replace the x with an x plus h. There was a 3 hanging out there also. And the original function was 1 over x plus 3 all over h. So the least common denominator between x plus h plus 3 and x plus 3 is going to be x plus h plus 3 quantity times the quantity x plus 3. So that's what I'm going to mention here. We're going to multiply both the numerator and the denominator of this fraction by x plus h plus 3 times x plus 3. And so what happens there is we'll have x plus 3 minus x plus h plus 3. So if you did the correct fraction busting, that's what you would get. Now, if I'm going to be looking at this when I'm grading that, I expect you to see that step there. So don't copy this word, or what I have here. Make sure you show that step. Again, nice things are going to happen. The x and the 3 are going to cancel out, so we're just left with minus h on the numerator, and then the denominator. Do not multiply it out, because then it just gets a big mess, and it's not going to be helpful. We can, I didn't mention this at the beginning, but if we directly substitute 0 in, then we get 0 over 0. So that's why we're going through all of this. If I can directly substitute in, then I don't have to go through some algebra tricks. Okay, the h's are going to divide out, and we have negative 1 over x plus 3 times x plus 3 plus h, or it doesn't matter, the h or the 3 comes first. Now we can go ahead and directly substitute the 0 in for the h, because we're not worried about dividing by 0. And we get negative 1 over x plus 3 quantity squared. So I'll be doing a bunch of this stuff in Chapter 2 also.